All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today is Friday, February 6th, 2026. And, we usually pick one giant topic and just tear it apart for a while. But today, we're flipping the script, doing something a little different for you.
Yeah, this is more of a highlight reel.
Exactly, a highlight reel. We've curated a specific stack of sources covering just the last week or so, week 3 of 2026 in sports. And honestly, looking at this, it feels like the whole world of athletics just hit the accelerator.
It really did. And not just, on the field. The signal that's cutting through all the noise in our research today, from the NCAA to the Women's Super League in England, is disruption.
Disruption. How so? To me, it just looks like a bunch of scores and business deals.
Well, on the surface, yeah. But the real story is this massive explosion in visibility and innovation, and it's happening specifically in women's sports. We're talking about huge structural changes.
Not just small steps forward.
No, not at all. We're talking new broadcast models, brand new varsity sports, and even tech that completely redefines the field of play.
Okay, so our mission today is to connect the dots. Figure out how a deal made in a London boardroom connects to, say, a pole vaulter in Pennsylvania.
Precisely.
Let's start with football then. Or soccer, because it seems like the biggest play this week wasn't on the pitch at all, but in an office in the UK. The Women's Super League, the WSL.
This is a huge one. This is arguably the most significant business development in European women's football this decade. Sky Sports just announced a massive partnership.
Okay.
Starting with the 2025-26 season, Sky is, for all intents and purposes, the home of the WSL.
I want to pause there because we see rights deals all the time, right?
Yeah.
ESPN, NBC, Amazon. Everyone's grabbing a piece of the pie. What makes this one so special?
It's about the sheer volume and scarcity. Under this new deal, Sky is going to broadcast 118 matches per season.
Wow, 118.
Just to give you some context, that is more than triple the current coverage.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. 78 of those matches are totally exclusive.
Meaning you can't find them anywhere else, so they're forcing the audience to come to one place.
Exactly. They are locking down the inventory. They've also got the rights to the Women's Championship, the League Cup, all of it. This isn't just a bet on a few big games. It's a bet on the entire ecosystem.
It's about building a week-in, week-out habit for fans.
That's the key. It stops being a scavenger hunt to find the game. It becomes a ritual.
Speaking of rituals and the League Cup, let's pivot from the spreadsheet to the actual grass. We had a semifinal this week that feels like a big one. Manchester United women versus Arsenal.
A classic rivalry. And yeah, Man United punched their ticket to the final against Chelsea. But the story here isn't just that they won, it's how they won.
I was looking at the box score you sent over. If you didn't know the final score, you'd think Arsenal blew them out.
Oh, absolutely.
Arsenal had what, 61% possession? 21 shots? And United wins 1-0. How does that happen? Was it just luck?
It's easy to call it a smash and grab, but I think that's also tactics a little short. United didn't just get lucky. They executed a very specific, very defensive game plan.
They parked the bus, as they say.
They parked the bus. And look, it can be ugly to watch, but it takes incredible discipline. They used a midfield three-park, Miyazawa and Zijia Riom, and their only job was to be a wall.
And it worked. Elizabeth de Terlen got the one goal they needed.
It also helped that Arsenal kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Right, the red card.
Yeah, Olivia Smith getting sent off in the 61st minute was the turning point. But the big takeaway here is United's grit. Holding off a team like Arsenal for that long gives you a massive psychological edge heading into a final against Chelsea.
Okay, so we've got the business growing and the grit winning games. Let's stick with football, but shrink the pitch a bit. Let's talk futsal.
Yes, let's.
I feel like futsal is one of those sports people kind of know about. Indoors, fast, technical.
Yeah.
But they don't realize how big it is. We got an update on the 2026 ASEAN Women's Futsal Championship.
This is happening in Thailand from February 24th to March 2nd. Vietnam are the defending champs.
So why does a regional tournament in Southeast Asia make our highlight reel?
Because it's about the expansion of the map. You're seeing newcomers like Australia and Malaysia getting involved.
Wait, Australia's in an ASEAN tournament? That seems like a pretty big deal for the region's competition.
It is. And it matters because futsal is like an incubator for technical skill. It forces fast play in tight spaces. By bringing in a powerhouse like Australia, you raise the technical bar for the entire region. It's a pipeline issue.
A pipeline?
Yeah. Better futsal in 2026 means better World Cup teams in 2030.
That idea of a pipeline is the perfect bridge to our next sport. Because what the NCAA just did for American football is Well, it's massive.
The flag football announcement.
Yes, the NCAA has officially named flag football an emerging sport for women. Now, that might sound like they're just validating a hobby, but this is a really big deal, isn't it?
It's a huge deal. Emerging sport is a formal designation. It means the NCAA sees a real path to a national championship. Schools can start spending real money. Right now, you have about 40 schools with teams, and that's projected to hit 60 this spring.
And a major player just jumped in, the University of Nebraska.
That was the headline grabber. Nebraska announced they will be the first power conference school, Big Ten money, Big Ten facilities, to add it as a varsity sport.
And they're aiming to start in 2028. That year seems significant. Is that a coincidence?
Not a coincidence at all. That is strategic planning. The 2028 Summer Olympics are in Los Angeles.
And flag football is on the program.
And flag football is making its debut. So Nebraska isn't just adding a sport, they're basically building an Olympic training ground.
They're creating a first-mover advantage.
Precisely. They'll offer scholarships, elite training. They're positioning themselves to recruit the exact athletes who want to be standing on that podium in LA.
So does varsity status really change things for the athlete? Or is it just a title?
Oh, it changes everything. Club sports are often pay to play. Varsity means full institutional support, tutoring, medical staff, travel budgets, and yes, scholarships. It legitimizes a career path that just did not exist for female athletes 5 years ago.
Wow.
It's incredible.
It really is. Okay, from a sport modernizing a classic, let's go to one that's being completely reinvented. Let's talk about golf.
The Women's Team Golf League, the WTGL.
This sounds less like a sports league and more like a tech startup. It's launching late 2026, and it's not happening on a golf course, is it?
Not at all. It's entirely indoors, at a place called the SoFi Center in Florida.
So it's a simulator league?
Yes and no. Calling it just a simulator doesn't do it justice. Players are hitting into a 5-story high screen, but the short game is real.
How? How is the short game real in an arena?
They have this massive rotating green complex. The floor literally changes contours to mimic different slopes for your putt or chip. So you hit a drive into the digital screen, and then the physical green adjusts for your next shot.
That's wild, but does it feel like golf?
It's a different vibe for sure. The format is built for speed. It's only 15 holes, 9 holes of triples, it's 3-on-3 alternate shot, and then 6 holes of singles. It's meant to be fast and dramatic.
And who's footing the bill for a 5-story screen?
It's a partnership between the LPGA and TMRW Sports, which is Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy's company. But what's really interesting is that one of the lead investors is Tribe Ventures.
That's Alex Morgan's venture firm, right? The soccer player.
It is, and that's a key detail. You have a soccer legend investing serious capital into women's golf. It shows that top athletes see women's sports as a high-growth asset class. This isn't charity. They expect a return.
And I saw that the players are going to be mic'd up.
Yeah, the quiet please sign is gone. You're going to hear everything, the strategy, the frustration, maybe some trash talk. It makes the athletes so much more accessible.
It makes it personal. Okay, let's shift from the futuristic greens back to the very loud, very real hardwood, NCAA women's basketball. And for Maryland, week 3 was, let's call it character building.
That's a very polite way of saying they got crushed. Their worst loss of the season to number 3 UCLA. Final score was 97-67.
A 30-point blowout.
Right.
That's not something you expect from a powerhouse like Maryland. What happened?
Well, they shot just 37% from the field, for one. But the real story was UCLA center Lauren Betts.
She was a wall in the paint.
A total force. She had 5 blocks. She just made the rim off limits. But this loss also speaks to the new reality of the Big Ten.
With the expansion.
Exactly. Maryland is struggling with these West Coast teams. They've lost to Oregon, Washington, and now UCLA. It's a different style of play, and they just haven't figured it out yet.
But it wasn't all bad news in the Big Ten. Rutgers is showing some signs of life.
They are. They're about to face a brutal 3-game stretch against ranked teams, a real gauntlet. But they're going into it with a win. They beat Penn State 76-72.
Their first conference win of the season.
And a necessary one. It was a close game, and they showed real defensive toughness to close it out. That kind of win builds belief, which they're going to need.
And before we leave basketball, I wanted to touch on something at UNC. Not a game, but an event they hosted for National Girls and Women in Sports Day.
This was fantastic. They had athletes from 15 different varsity teams running clinics for kids, all the way from pre-K up to 8th grade.
I love seeing that connection. But it was more than just learning to dribble, wasn't it?
It was. They partnered with Blue Cross NC to focus specifically on mental health and resiliency.
A topic we discuss a lot here. The pressure on young athletes.
Right. And by having varsity athletes talk openly about mental well-being, you help destigmatize it. You show these kids that being a strong athlete means having a strong mind, too. It's a crucial investment.
Absolutely. Okay, final stop on our tour. Let's head to track and field. We got a report from the PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
And you need to learn the name Andrew Saplucky,
He's a freshman at Kutztown University.
the freshman. And in just his second college meet ever, he didn't just win the pole vault. He broke the school record and the conference record.
What was the height?
He cleared 5.3 meters. That's 17 feet, 4.5 inches.
In his second meet. That
Yeah.
is just, that's absurd.
It's elite. He's now ranked #1 in all of NCAA Division II. And it's just a great reminder that world-class performances happen everywhere, not just in the power conferences.
And he wasn't the only one making noise in that conference.
Not at all. Riley Trentowski from East Stroudsburg ran the second fastest mile in her program's history. Allie Taylor from Slippery Rock hit a big mark in the pole vault. The PSA was really showing out this week.
I love ending on that note of individual brilliance. Okay, let's bring it all back. Week 3, 2026. We went from a defensive grind in Manchester to a 5-story golf simulator in Florida.
It's a real study in contrasts, isn't it? You have the timeless punks of sport, the grit, the defense, the physical limits of the pole vault. And on the other side, you have tech and business models completely changing how we even watch these things.
So for you, listening today, what's the big takeaway? Why does this specific week matter?
I think it proves that the barriers to entry in sports for fans and athletes are just crumbling. If you want to play Olympic football without the collisions, flag football is now a funded pathway. If you want to watch the best women's soccer, you don't have to hunt for a sketchy stream anymore.
The playing field is getting wider.
And so much more accessible. The very definition of sport is expanding.
Which brings us to our final thought, a little something to leave you with.
Let's hear it.
We talked about flag football removing the pads. We talked about tech golf removing the need for 150 acres of land. We're seeing this trend of shrinking the footprint of sports.
Right.
So the question is, as technology shrinks the field, literally compressing 18 holes into one arena, are we redefining what a spectator sport is? Does making the sport smaller actually make the audience bigger?
That is the paradox, isn't it? By removing the friction, the time, the cost, the space, you might just be opening the door for millions of people who never saw themselves in these sports before.
Something to think about. That's our Week 3 highlight reel. Keep your eyes on the stats and on the screens. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.